Hi everyone, it's Debbie from cariadcards.co. Thank you very much for joining me today. And today I'm going to be showing you how I made this card. I'm going to do it in a different colourway. This card uses Calypso Coral, Blushing Bride and Pink Pirouette, and I've layered it on a Blushing Bride cardstock layer at the bottom. The card I'm going to do today is going to be made in Marina Mist, Pool Party and Soft Sky, so we're going blue. Started off with a 6" by 6" card blank, and I've got my bottom layer of Pool Party, which is 14 centimetres by 14 centimetres or 5.5 inches by 5.5, and a piece of Whisper White card at 13.5 centimetres by 13.5 or 5.25 by 5.25. So to start with, we're going to do these sort of arty swirls, and they're done using the stamp, this stamp from the Work of Art set. Now, I have seen this technique and this design used on many different cards, so it's hard to know who to attribute for originally coming up with it. It is a lovely way of using this stamp, and you can use as many or as few colours as you want. You can create a rainbow effect. It often works better if you do it in odd numbers, so you get 3s or 5s or 7s. I'm starting off with Soft Sky. That's my lightest colour. I tend to work lighter to dark. So I'm not going to be too precious about this. I don't mind if they're completely even or slightly further apart than another. I'm just literally going to pop that down. I really like the sort of handmade arty effect that you get by doing this. Pool Party next, and I'm going to be extremely naughty. I don't recommend you do this, but because I've gone lighter to dark and I have taken the ink off my stamp, I'm just going to pop that onto there without cleaning it, but don't tell anybody because it's not a good idea to do. Pool Party, and just popping that down. These colours work beautifully together. You can use shades of one colour like I'm doing, say, or you could go completely different. You can put pink and lilac and blue, yellow and orange and red, and then this is the Marina Mist. So I've gone slightly towards the right hand side. Oh no, sorry, I need my left and my right sorted out. The left hand side of the card, because I'm going to be putting this greeting more towards the right. Okay, so that's the stamping on the card base done. Going to do my embossed edges now. I don't know if you can see that. It all depends how the light actually hits this when I'm filming as to whether you can see. I've got 2 lines that are embossed with a slight basket weave effect in the corners. I hope you can see that. So I'm going to use my Simply Scored board and the stylus that comes with it. I'm going to pop my card upside down because I want an embossed line, which means sort of sticking up. Use my stylus. There's the edge of the card. Now there is a groove there, but that would be right at the edge. I want to go one in because I want my lines to really be visible. So I've gone from the top down to the bottom. I'm going to turn my card 90 degrees and I'm going to do the same there. And turn it 90 degrees again and do the same, and turn it 90 degrees and the same. Now I could stop there because I have got one line all the way around, and I often just do the one line, but I'm going to do a second line. So I'm going to go one in. Now the reason you're turning it is so that you get this overlapping effect. It looks a little bit like a basket weave. You don't have to do that, entirely up to you. So I'm on my last line now. It's a very fast technique, but it just seems to finish a card off, I think. I love it anyway, and those of you that watch my videos know that I use this technique a lot. So hopefully you can see that. We've now got sort of basket weave effect here and 2 embossed lines. I'm going to pop that on one side because we're now going to work on the greeting, and for that I'm using the Chalk Talk set, and I'm using this stamp here which says just a little something for a very special someone. It's a beautiful stamp. It looks a little bit like a chalkboard effect. Beautiful swirls, lots of little pretty patterns there, and the beauty of it is this set comes with a set of matching framelits called Chalk Talk. You can buy them both individually, or you can buy them together where you get a 15% discount if you buy them as a bundle, and it really does help when you've got these different shapes just to be able to cut them out in your die cutter, because you know you're going to get perfectly even, perfectly straight lines and a perfect gap around them. Now I'm going to do mine on white card, and I'm going to use the Marina Mist. I'm going for the darker colour. I've tried the lighters, they do work, but I just think you see the words a little bit better if you use the darker ink. Again, it's just personal preference, there's no right, no wrong. So I've chosen to do Marina Mist, and I'm just going to take, because it's a larger stamp, I'm going to take my ink pad to my stamp. And make sure you get a good coverage, otherwise you're going to get white sort of blotchy areas if you haven't inked it up well. So you want plenty of ink. In fact, I've just taken some ink off there. So you want to make sure you've got a good coverage. If you look, as I'm doing this, I'm sort of putting some on and taking some off. Okay, let's just have a go with that, and fingers crossed we'll have enough on to get a good stamped image. So pop it down onto your paper and put plenty of pressure on so that you've got good contact between the stamp and the card, and there we are. Yes, that's okay. Happy with that. I think I've taken a little bit off around here, but that's absolutely fine. You can read that perfectly well. Just a little something for a very special someone. Okay, now I have got my framelit. Going to bring in my Big Shot, and I've got my magnetic platform. If you can afford to get one of these, I would recommend it, because it really does hold your framelit in place. So you can pop that on and you know it's not going to shift even a tiny bit. You've just got to move that around so that you've got an almost an equal amount of white space around it. Pop myself, oh my cutting plates are very well used, as you can see. Just run that through. I hope this isn't shaking the camera too much. Okay, take my machine out of the way, cutting plate off, platform and cutting plate gone, and then, this is always like a moment of truth, isn't it? A bit like when you stamp it. Just take that off. Now, how much easier was that than trying to cut it by hand? You would struggle to replicate that. Right, now you can leave it like that. What I did though, on this one, was I just stamped it again in a lighter ink. So I used Calypso Coral for that and Blushing Bride for this one, just to really make it stand out, and it also meant I could add a bit of extra dimension on there. So just to save a bit of time, I stamped it out again in Pool Party, and I just cut round. I literally used scissors and cut round it, and then I'm just going to use a few little dimensionals on here just to stick it on, add a bit of height. So I've just used some of the ones from the edges because a whole one would be just that little bit too big, I think. I do love a bit of dimension on my cards. So pop that, just carefully line it up there. Now I just love that effect. And the next thing is a bow. Now, I've cheated. I've done it beforehand, but to prove I did tie it, I really did do it, I've left it attached to the ribbon. I didn't buy it in, I made it. Okay, although I can't cut the ends of my bows straight, can I? Oh, that's probably my next challenge. Okay, right, I need to attach that onto there, and to do that I'm going to use a glue dot, because glue dots will stick pretty much anything to anything. Love them. That will just make that sit there, and that, I think, it just brings out the colour of that and the background colour of the card. So all I've got to do now is put this card together. Right, I'm just going to use my paper and card glue. You can use any method that you like to stick this together. So glue, double-sided tape, fast fuse, snail. You can even use dimensionals if you want to add a bit of extra height to your card. That's the beauty, isn't it, with card making? You can change it and adapt it to suit what works for you, because what works for one person doesn't always work for somebody else. Oops, no right and wrong way. Okay. Right, now I've just got to attach the layer that we worked on earlier. Probably do with a little, I think I was a little bit mean on the glue on that first layer, but that's fine. It will, once this stuff sticks, it stays stuck. You'd literally rip the card getting it off. So glue around the outside edges. Make sure you get it the right way up. How many of us have put cards together upside down, gone to open them up? Oh, you do feel such a twit, don't you, when you do that? Okay, and then I just need to sort of work out where I want to put that, what kind of angle, where I want to place it. And that really is just a matter of personal preference. I'm going to pop a few dimensionals on the back, and then literally it will just attach onto the card and we're done. This is one of those cards that you could produce quite a lot of quite quickly. You know, if you've got a set of thank you cards you want to send out, or maybe you're preparing for a craft fair, you can just stamp these in preparation, pop a greeting on, and you're done. There we are. So 2 cards, same design, just different colourways. I don't know which one I would say is my favourite. I love them both actually. Hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining me, Debbie, at cariadcards.co.